Thanks for watching. I'm Corey Steiner, and this is my friend Andrew Clark. I'm going to share with you today a powerful testimony, one that I hope encourages you. You may be experiencing some hardships right now, but I pray that my friend Andrew here and his testimony can help you see that no matter what you are going through, you have the ability to make it to the other side. So Andrew, thank you for
My pleasure.
being with me again here. And I would like you to share with our friends your testimony.
All right. Well, thanks, Corey. When I think back about my life and where I am now and where I've been, it's been quite a journey. But I guess what you could say is that I was one of those guys that had it all. I mean, I had a beautiful wife. I married my high school sweetheart. We both went to college. We got a great education. We got great jobs. We bought a house. We had children. I had life by the tail. And I guess what you just don't know is that life is just life. And so much of it sometimes is an illusion. What I discovered is it started to sort of unravel a little bit when my wife found a lump under her arm. And what we did is we had that lump biopsied, and it was cancer. Well, she had the usual treatments. At this point, our children were 6 and 3, 2 daughters. And so they were very little, and they knew something was going on, but they didn't really know exactly what it was. But what we did then is we had the medical profession jumped in, and we had radical surgery, and then followed by both radiation and chemotherapy. And for 3.5 years, my wife was really fine. And we were starting to get beyond it and look towards the future together as a family. But then in just a routine bone scan, they discovered a hot spot that shows up on the x-rays, and in this instance it was on her clavicle. Sometimes cancer can come back in the liver or other places, but in this instance it came back in her bones. And once it got there, we tried virtually everything. We not only did the traditional medical stuff, but then we did also the non-traditional things as well. And we literally scoured the earth for treatments that could cure her from this terrible illness. I equate it to being like a terrorist living in your family. This terrorist is cancer, and this terrorist holds you at gunpoint with the threat of taking your life. And in the process, it literally steals everything that you have from you, systematically over time. And it robs you of your health, of your strength. It saps your financial resources. It takes away literally everything. By the time my wife eventually passed away, she was sick for 10 years. When she died, my daughters were now 16 and 13. My oldest daughter actually turned 16 the day after the funeral. So you can imagine it was bittersweet at best. We lost everything we had in that regard. And so I really thought that in many ways, my life as I knew it was over. And it was just sort of an empty shell walking through the motions. Well, my daughters and I sort of picked up our lives and started to move along. I changed jobs and started working at the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. And it was a great job. My daughters graduated from high school, first one and then the other. They both went on to college. And I was feeling like I was moving along. Well, then, let's see. I guess it was the year 2002. And It was in February. I discovered that in another sort of routine physical, I discovered that I had cancer. And one thing led to the next, and I ended up having surgery, and then I ended up having 37 radiation treatments. It was one of those cancers, though, that we were able to catch. But I'll tell you what, it terrorized my daughters. They thought, gee, first of all, we lose our mother, and now a dad's got cancer as well. Well, that was the spring and the summer and the fall of 2002. And I was really feeling okay, and I was working again, and everything seemed to be all right. It looked like we caught this cancer in time. 3 days before Christmas, we had kind of a surprise. I was sitting in my bathrobe in my living room watching White Christmas, as a matter of fact, and the smoke detector went off in the kitchen. And when I went out, found that there was 2 feet of smoke in the ceiling, and we had a chimney fire. Well, we lived in a little farmhouse on 6 acres of land outside of Whitewater, and by the time the volunteers got there, the house was burned to the ground. So here we had cancer, took my wife's life, took a lot of our resources. It took me literally 15 years to pay back all those medical bills. But then when the house burned down, what happens with loss is that it sort of all combines into one generalized loss. And I was angry. I was angry at God. I was angry at life. And I was driven to my knees, literally. But then I began to realize, in many ways, I was now without any possessions. The only possession that I had was the bathrobe that I was wearing. So my daughters were in college. They came home, and I moved in with friends, and we began the process of slowly rebuilding my life from absolutely nothing. All the possessions that my wife and I had from our earlier life, they were all gone. Our photos, our pictures, gone. So in some ways, it was from the ashes that I needed to rebuild my life, and I did. What lessons that I've learned from this are that it was about maybe 3 years later that I met a woman that I fell head over heels for. She's the love of my life. When I thought my life was over, what I discovered is that if you're open, it's just really beginning. I've also learned humility. I mean, I used to swim with the sharks. I had the dorsal fin and everything. You know, I had my own business. I had everything a man could ever want. And what I realized is that so much of this is an illusion. It's a false sense of control. And really, we're just passengers here, and for a very fleeting moment. And people think if I only had this new car, if I only had this big screen TV, if I only had this big house and all the furnishings. I mean, the media sort of promotes that. I mean, if you don't have that, you know, you suck. You're just a loser. And what I discovered is that it's not about that at all. It's about love. It's about humility. It's about being on your knees and being thankful for what we have. Because what we really have is we have one another. And we have a very short period of time to give all of ourselves and all of our resources to help our fellow mankind and to help the planet. And I'm just grateful to be able to share this story with you and let you know that no matter what you are going through, when the time is at that moment when you finally say, I've had enough, I cannot do this myself, that's when your real hope begins. Thank you.